I know what it's like to deal with nasally vocals, both as an engineer mixing for other clients and as a vocal performer myself. Over the years, I've gotten better at dealing with this common vocal issue, and in today's video, I wanted to show you a few ways you can minimize having a nasally vocal sound. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy 5-Piece, producer and engineer extraordinaire. Thank you for checking out this video, and by the end of it, you're going to understand how to achieve a fuller vocal sound that is not so concentrated in the nasal range. And make sure that you pay attention all the way to the end, because by the end of this video, I am going to give you my favorite strategies to fix this in post-production, aka in my DAW. You could definitely take this and apply it however you like, no matter what you are using. I've got my friend Everything Ocean song, Thessaloniki here. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but we're going to use this song to go over 3 key strategies: clip gain, EQ, and dynamic processing. Let's first talk about clip gain, because this is an easy strategy that many of us can implement with minimal effort. Now, truthfully, this is only going to apply to moments that are nasally, okay? If you have a vocal that is just blatantly nasally, this is not going to be the most effective strategy. The next 2 will be, but this is good if you have select moments that are nasally. And to be fair, this song is not the most nasally vocal I've ever dealt with, but there's certainly the presence of the nasal passage on certain moments of this recording. So let's play this and identify an area where there is some presence of the nasal passage.
This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki.
So right here, just in this first line, I'm already getting a little bit at certain times, right? So what I'm going to do with clip gain is I'm going to actually crop out this section. So this is time, and you can hear it on the need me as well. So what I'm suggesting you do is find these select moments, crop them out, and then use the clip gain to ultimately reduce the volume of this select moment. So let's say, for example, need me has an excessive amount of this nasally presence. I'm going to use the clip gain to turn down that moment, and assuming that it's only happening at certain times, this should obviously reduce the presence of that. So let's just hear this real quick.
Time you need me, 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 time you need me.
I know it's a bit of a repetitive loop there, but you could hear how just having it turned down a little bit is just smoothing it out, not having it poke out so much. I don't think this is going to be the best strategy for this track in particular, but I do think that if you're somebody who has moments that are nasally, clip gain is an effective strategy. The next strategy, of course, is to use EQ. So I've got my Pro Q here, and we're just going to focus on this exact same section here. And what you're going to want to do is you're first going to want to create a band, usually a bell with a slightly narrow Q, as you can see here. And we're just going to sweep around, and I'm going to solo the frequency. So it helps to have an EQ that could solo it, like the Pro Q3 here. And I'm just going to try to find the exact area, the frequency area, where there's a lot of buildup of that nasally passage. Typically, this is going to be somewhere between, let's say, 800 to 2000. I find that window is really where we're going to be looking, right? So here I am around 800 all the way up to 2000. I'm going to just sweep around and try to find the biggest concentration of that frequency. And then I'm going to obviously notch it out on a static basis with this EQ. So let's do that first. Let's first identify and then reduce. Here we go. So in my opinion, there's actually a few moments here. So let's first focus on this one. I think at around 800, you're getting a little bit more of that lower nasally presence. Right? So let's just go in. I'm going to solo this again, and I'm going to reduce this. And what I like to do is actually really notch it out and then slowly add it back in until I feel like it sounds natural.
This time you need me, 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 this time you need me. This time you need me, this time you need me, this time you need me, this time you need me.
So you can hear how that's actually making a very significant difference, and I'm doing a huge move here. This is -9, right? So this is not some small move by any means, but you can hear how it's cleaning things up. Let's do one additional example of the frequency here, because there are a few moments that I feel like are being affected. So I'm going to reset this, solo it, and then just find the spot. I would say around here for sure. Do the same thing. I'm going to notch it out.
This time you need me, 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 this time you need me.
So you can hear even how that, a much smaller move at about -5.5, let's say, is obviously cleaning this up as well. So real quick, let's do an A-B. I'm just going to play the same thing. I'm going to bypass, put it in, and just pay attention. Notice if it just sounds more or less nasally.
This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki. This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki. This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki. This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki.
So you can hear how it's definitely cleaning things up. It's just not as resonant, not as present in that specific area. And once again, this is between 800 hertz and 2000 hertz. And because we're doing this as a surgical EQ move, I definitely recommend putting this earlier in your chain. But of course, bring it up whenever you notice the issues. Now, the third way we can approach correcting this issue is with dynamic processing. And you can actually still use an EQ, but instead you want to use it on a dynamic basis, which means I could take some of these bands and make them dynamic so that way they're attached to a threshold. So once a frequency passes a threshold, it's going to ultimately reduce that problem. And I like this. It usually sounds more transparent, right? It's not so noticeable. We're not consistently or constantly removing a frequency. Instead, we're only getting rid of it when it's loud enough to pass a threshold, which indicates that it is an issue. Now, to be fair, since I've already talked about EQ here, I'll plug another video all about dynamic EQ up above. You can watch that to see it. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a multi-band compressor in this case to deal with this issue. Now, similar to the EQ, what you want to do is first identify that area. Now, I kind of gave you some cliff notes here of how it's roughly between 800 and 2000. So I can manually punch that area in and I could solo it and we can actually listen to the phrase once again and just see if this is the entire area that should be treated or if I should actually shorten it or reduce it so it's a little bit more focused. Let's just solo this frequency and check it out.
This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki. This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki. This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki.
So I've actually shortened it a little bit, closer to about 1750. I do feel like when you start getting closer to 2000, you're getting a little bit more of just the overall vocal presence and the bite. And sometimes you don't want to negatively affect that. So I'm trying to avoid that. Instead, I'm really just concentrated on this nasally area, which truth be told is usually around 1000 hertz. So now that we have this general frequency area selected, we know what we want to affect. I'm going to leave the range pretty aggressive here, roughly at about minus 6 dB. So that's the maximum amount of volume that we can lose here. I'm going to leave my attack and release as fairly quick, not the quickest they could be, but more fast than slow. And I'll even leave the ratio at 4:1 for now, but you may want to take it down to a 2:1 if you want it to be a little bit more transparent. But that being said, I'm going to just play this exact section. I'm going to reduce the threshold and we're going to start to see that this vocal phrase, when it becomes too overwhelming in this frequency area, is going to trigger this to reduce and ultimately suppress the information, suppress the frequency information, basically making it not as present in this particular frequency. So let's check this out.
This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki. 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 This time you need me, I'm being Thessaloniki.
So you can ultimately hear how it's cleaning things up, right? And I actually don't mind this exaggerated effect of about a -6 range. It's pretty aggressive, to be honest, but ultimately it's sounding fairly smooth. It's just cleaning it up. It doesn't sound unnatural by any means. However, of course, this is definitely an area of vocal presence, so you want to use your judgment here. If it starts sounding too thin or too weak and not so punchy or full or forward, we'll obviously back off on the range and maybe not reduce as much. You know, I'll go anywhere from -1 to -6. Sometimes we'll go even beyond that, right? But this is happening dynamically. It's not constantly getting rid of this frequency like we were with the EQ in the previous step, but instead it's only getting rid of this frequency when it's loud enough to pass the threshold. So of course, your vocal needs to pass the threshold. Otherwise, this isn't working at all. It's just for show and tell. But ultimately, I find that this last strategy, whether you're using a multi-band compressor or a dynamic EQ, similar to that previous step, but of course on a dynamic basis, I find that those are the most effective strategies at treating nasally vocals for sure, and ultimately achieving a well-balanced and full vocal sound. Now, one additional note I wanted to mention is maybe you're not just experiencing this on an individual track basis, but rather on a group level as well. Maybe you have stacks of vocals that as they combine, you're getting this overwhelming nasally presence, right? It'll happen sometimes when you have a bunch of vocals, backgrounds, leads, ad-libs, etc. So what I'm obviously going to suggest here is you could take this one step up and apply it to your vocal group as well. So where all the vocal tracks go, you could definitely apply these exact same strategies. Maybe not necessarily the clip gain one, but absolutely the EQ, the dynamic EQ, and the multi-band compressor. Those strategies will for sure work on your group as well. And of course, while I am soloing things and doing it for the sake of this lesson, Always make your final decisions in context because that's how your end listener is going to experience it. With that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you got value out of this video, and if you did, please smash that like button until it turns blue. And of course, subscribe so you can see some more of my helpful content. I drop something like this every single week, always focused on helping you sound better and helping you make more money with your music. I appreciate y'all once again. If you want to see anything in a future video, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. All right? Peace.
5